everybody. So today we are going to see about ecosystem. So everybody talk about ecosystem. Ecosystem pollution, environmental pollution, everything we are talking about. So we should know what is ecosystem first. So anybody know about ecosystem? Anything? Any question? Any answer? Yeah. Ecosystem is a interlinkage of biotic and abiotic components. So it is a comprises of plants and animals which interlink or which is dependent on one another for its survival, for its food, for everything. So the definition of an ecosystem is all the plants and animals that live in an area, a particular area together with a complex relationship that exists between them in the environment. So they are dependent on each other. For example, if you take a cow, it is dependent on grass. The grass, it requires sunlight, the abiotic component for its food. So like the energy is flow from one organism to other organism. So this living organism is dependent on non-living organisms, which all the living in the abiotic as well as biotic components, they live in the area. So this ecosystem is the animals and plants or any biotic or abiotic components which live in the area which interlink each other. So that is called as an ecosystem. So as I told you, it has two main components, biotic and abiotic. So what is abiotic and biotic components? First one is abiotic components. A means air itself. A means non-biotic living things. So abiotic is all non-living things. So this is non-living components. So the main energy for this ecosystem, where it derives from? It derives from solar. So the solar energy which provides the main energy for all the components, biotic, abiotic, for everything solar energy is required. So all the energy is derived from sun. So what is the abiotic component? Abiotic component is a non-living component. For example, it has inorganic substances such as sulfur, boron, carbon, everything it is called abiotic component. Some organic compounds like proteins, carbohydrates, lipids and other complex molecules. These proteins, carbohydrates are complex molecules, whereas amino acids and then fatty acids are the simpler forms. So these organic compounds and inorganic compounds which doesn't have live form, which is called as abiotic components. So next one is biotic component. So what is it? Abiotic means non-living things. So here biotic means living components. So this is biotic component of an ecosystem can be classified based on the mode of energy acquisition. It can be classified into several types. Here we have classified the major classification is autotrophs and heterotrophs. So these biotic components either it can obtain or it can produce its own food by its own. That is called autotrophs. So autotrophs, auto means self, self-trophs means nourishing. So autotrophs is self-nourishing plants. So whatever the energy required, it can be able to produce its own food. That is called autotrophs. So these autotrophs is called as primary producer. Why it is called as a primary producers? Because for other organisms, such as all the other organisms, they are dependent on these autotrophs for its food. So this is the main component in an ecosystem which gives energy to the other organisms. So these autotrophs are called as primary producers. Again, these autotrophs can be classified into photoautotrophs, chemoautotrophs. As well as photo means photo, it's light. So autotrophs is self-nourishing plants. So photoautotrophs are these autotrophs are particularly dependent on sunlight for producing its food. So these photoautotrophs fix energy from the sun and store in complex organic compounds. What are the photoautotrophs? Like green pigmented plants, algae which have some chlorophyll components, and some bacteria. So these plants, algae, bacteria which possess a specific pigment which is called chlorophyll. This chlorophyll pigment is it is very this pigment which can utilize the solar energy, and it can be able to convert this solar energy into a chemical energy. So this pigment is the main component which converts for the conversion of solar energy into organic compounds. So the plants, algae, and some cyanobacteria which have this pigment which could be able to obtain or which could be able to derive the sunlight from the solar energy. So these photoautotrophs, it can fix their energy by the pigment chlorophyll. This process, this all over process is called as photosynthesis. So next one is, so here you could see where this photoautotrophs, here it will have some chlorophyll pigment. So it requires light. When light penetrates in the chlorophyll, or when rain light hits on the chlorophyll, so it excited the photosystem 1 and photosystem 2, where these simpler inorganic compounds which can be converted into complex organic compounds. So first we have seen about photoautotrophs. Next one is chemoautotrophs. So what is chemo? Chemo is chemical. So these autotrophs in the sense which can produce its own food, but photoautotrophs is light dependent autotrophs, whereas chemo means chemical. So here it requires chemical for producing its own food. So the chemoautotrophs are autotrophs which dependent on the chemical substances for producing its own food. So for example, if you see nitrifying bacteria, where it is found on the soil or the root nodules of the leguminous plants, where this nitrogen fixing bacteria, nitrifying bacteria, otherwise it is called the nitrifying bacteria, which could be able to uptake the nitrogen, ammonia, and then nitrate directly, and it can be able to convert into some other form. Maybe it can convert nitrogen into ammonia or nitrogen into nitrate. So it can uptake its food, or which can the main food from the chemicals. So these are called as chemoautotrophs. So we have seen about photoautotrophs, chemoautotrophs. So these are coming under primary producer. So in producers we have two types: photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. And next one is heterotrophs. So hetero means hetero, other. So it depends other organisms for its food. So hetero means other the regime. So it cannot able to produce its own food like autotrophs. So these heterotrophs, they are dependent on other organisms for its food. So they require energy previously stored in a complex molecule. So these photoautotrophs, they store this energy in a complex molecule, where these heterotrophs comes and have the food or take the food from the autotrophs. So complex organic compounds which can be consumed by the heterotrophs, and it is again converted into simple inorganic compounds. So complex in the sense carbohydrate, which can be converted into starch and other which can be converted into sugars. Whereas if a lipid compound is there, where it can be converted into fatty acid and other acids. Where if a protein is ingested by the heterotrophs, it can be converted into amino acids, and during this process it will liberate some heat. During any metabolism or during any ingestion or digestion, it will release some amount of heat, so which is required for the energy for the heterotrophs. So this may include several steps. This conversion process includes several steps. Glycolysis is there, PCA cycle is there, energy transfer, electron cycle is there. So many processes are there for conversion of this complex organic compound into simple inorganic compounds. So these heterotrophs again Where in autotrophs we have seen two types, chemo as well as photo. Whereas in heterotrophs it can be classified into two major classifications. One is consumers, another one is decomposers. So consumers, because it consumes or it dependent on other organisms. So it consumes from other organisms. So it is called as consumers. So these consumers feed on organisms or particular organic matter. So here also this consumer is classified into three different types: primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. So consumer can be divided into subcategories based on this uptake of the food. So consumer, after that, decomposers. Decomposers are bacteria or fungi which convert the complex form where a dead material is found on the soil or anywhere. So these decomposers like fungi and bacteria which produces or which decomposes the complex form into simpler form. In other words, in a simpler format, if you wanted to say, decomposers are bacteria and fungi which convert the complex into simpler substances. So these fungi and bacteria are the main groups of decomposers. So main feeders, bacteria are the main feeders on animal dead material as well as dead waste. Whatever dung or whatever dead waste we have, dead materials is there. So this bacteria acts on the dead material and convert it into a smaller, simpler substances. So we have seen some of the major components in the ecosystem. Now we are going to see about the types of an ecosystem. So ecosystem can be classified into different types. Maybe forest ecosystem, grassland, desert, aquatic ecosystem. Based on the land, based on the area, it can be classified or based on the types of plant present. It can be classified in forest, grassland, desert, and aquatic. So the major determinants of these ecosystems are temperature and then rainfall. So if you consider this area, so if you consider a small area, if a certain area is around getting so much of rainfall and optimum amount of sunlight, then what will happen? There the plant will grow very fast and it will be tall and it will be very green and everything will grow very fastly. So there the particular ecosystem will form. So there we will get forest ecosystems where if the rainfall is very less and temperature is high, so there what will happen? Humidity is high. So based on the climatic conditions as well as seasonal variations, these ecosystem is being grouped or classified. So first one is if you see forest ecosystem where we have classified based on the leaves. It can be classified into two: coniferous forest and then broadleaf forest. This coniferous forest, it will be found in India. If you take India, it will be found on the Himalayan region. So where the altitude is very high and snowfall will be very huge, and then temperature, if you see the temperature, where it will be very low. So in this area, the forest, the plants will be cone-like shape. So it will be very tall and the leaves will be faced downward. It won't be upward because if snow fall on the leaf surface, it can't able to tolerate, it can't able to withstand that much of weight. So all the leaves will be adapted to the condition and will be downwards. And at the top it will be very sloping, whereas the tree will be very sloping from the top towards the bottom. So here the major is pine, and then pine will be found there. Next one is broadleaf forest. So this broadleaf forest will have four major categories: evergreen forest, deciduous forest, thorn forest, and then mangrove forest. First one is evergreen forest. So here the rainfall will be more. That is above 180 centimeter annual rainfall will be more than 180 centimeter. So here as well as the temperature will be the optimum range of 30 to 50 degrees centigrade. So So where the leaf can be, where the tree can be grow very well, and the leaves, because of the huge amount of sunlight, the leaves will be very broad, and it will be always find green in color. So it never shed the leaves. So these evergreen forest all over the year, it will be find very greenish. So here high rainfall, where these places like northeastern India, Andaman, Nicobar Island, and then Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, here and all, the rainfall will be very high. So in these area, these kinds of evergreen forest will find. And next one is deciduous forest. So deciduous forest is shedding, leaf shedding plants. So here the rainfall will be in the range of 120 to 150 centimeter per year. So the annual rainfall will be moderate, as well as the temperature will be little bit high compared to the evergreen forest area. And here the leaves will shed during the summer season, because during to prevent the evaporation rate, during the summer season the evaporation rate will be very high. So to prevent that evaporation rate, the leaves will shed on those periods. So here the winter, here two major extremes will be formed: hot summer as well as winter. So they grow in vigorous response to the rains. It will be very tall and leaves will be broad. But during the summer season, hot summer season, it will shed their leaves. Whereas in the winter season, it will be very green, like oak, silver oak. These are the plants which found on these deciduous forests. Next one is thorn forest. Thorn forest, which is sparsely distributed all over the, whereas you will find these kinds of thorn forests in the deserted area, where the temperature is very high compared to the evergreen as well as the mangrove, the deciduous forest area. Here the temperature will be very high and rainfall will be very less, below 30 to below 40 centimeter per annum. So here patches of grasses will fall, or patches of forest will form here and there. So these area, the leaves will be, these are the plants will be very small. Otherwise, as well as it will have special adaptation, because here the summer the temperature is very high. To withstand the temperature, the leaves or stem, it has modified into several adaptations. So like if you take a cactus, it will be, the leaf will be modified into a stem kind of thing, or a thorn kind of things. So where it could prevent the water evaporation. So as well as the stem will be very bulgy, as well as it has thick cover, cutex membrane will be found. So with these adaptation will prevent the water evaporation. So next one is mangrove forest. So where you find in the estuaries or in the mangrove will be found in the coastal area, especially in the river delta, where you also have the plant that could be able to adopt the both condition. So because it will contain, the area of the water will contain two types, saline water as well as fresh water. Where it will towards the area, the mangrove forest will grow very huge amount. So here we have Sundarban, as well as in Pichawar we are having mangrove forest. So here also some of the adaptation or some of the work will be there, like modified stems or amplified roots will be found in these mangrove forests, where it will be able to fix their atmospheric oxygen through those adventitious roots. So these are the major kinds of ecosystem, forest ecosystem. So as we see, forest ecosystem is classified into four major types. One is here deciduous, evergreen, coniferous, thorn forest, and then last mangrove forest. So first, we will see the importance of forest or forest utilization. There has two, the uses can be classified into two different: direct use, where otherwise indirect use. So direct use, whatever I are getting directly from the forest, so that is classified into the direct use, like fruits and trees, or grains and all here. depend on the forest, like apples or whatever fruits we are getting. So those are the foods we are directly dependent on the forest. So there are concerned of direct use. Next one is fuel wood. So some of the houses and all, they don't have these kinds of gases or induction stoves as we have now. So they are dependent on these woods for the timbers, for their for preparation of food. So those people will burn these woods for their fuel, as well as medicinal plants. So many plants are there. In the forest, you can n number of medicinal plants which can be directly uptaken, which will cure some of the disease. So these are considered the direct use, and wood from forms, bamboo for can, for baskets. And whereas if you see the indirect uses, it can be used for constructing used as a building material for constructions, like what to say, tables, wooden chairs, and then windows, and then these kinds of doors. Everything is made up of coming from the forest, the woods. So these are the indirect uses where we are not taking as a direct uses, where our surroundings will have these kinds of materials for our sophistication. So these are coming to indirect uses, and that is medicinal products. Some of the plants can be directly applied, those are considered direct use, whereas some of the products which can be derived from these plants, so which cannot be taken directly, where we have to convert or we have to convert these uptake or extract from these plants for the medicinal products. And then gums and resins process into a variety of products, raw materials for industrial products, and papers from bamboo and softwoods, papers. So papers also made up from woods, and also these kinds of products, these products are used for production of paper. So what are the threats? We have seen some of the uses. So now we are going to see about the threats. First one is over-utilization. So nowadays the industrialization era, so for each and everything we are using these kinds of forests, as well as the land resources or land lots, they are taking or they are destroying these forests for construction of many buildings. So over-utilization because of food, fuel woods, and timber extraction, and wood pulp for paper. So these are the major reasons for over-utilization. Next one is urbanization, industrialization. As I told you earlier, this urbanization, overpopulation, overcrowded, so they don't have places to live, so they are destroying the forest and they go into the forest and they live. And then industrialization also for constructing industries or for their energy resources, for their energy requirements, they destroy the forest and they cut into timbers and they use as a fuel for their industrial productions. So next one is mining. Mining is also an important threat to the forest ecosystem, where huge number of trees are destroyed because of this mining. Where you find a mineral which is highly costly or highly valuable, so there the companies and all go on mine and they degrade or they extract the minerals from the earth. So in this process, huge amount of forest is destroyed, as well as construction of dam. This is another important threat to the forest ecosystem. Where now we are facing so much of water problem, even though the construction of these kinds of dams will create serious threats to the forest, where huge number of trees are cut down or it may be destroyed for this construction of dam. And next, if you keep on facing these kinds of over-utilization, urbanization, mining, and dams, what will happen? Ultimately, the forest will destroy. So ultimately, it will disappear. So what will happen if a forest will disappear? So the tribal people, where they live, where they totally dependent on the forest for their daily basis, for their daily work and for everything, for their food, for everything. These tribal people, they won't go and work in a company. They will get whatever obtained from the forest. They will take it up and they will sell it and they will earn their own money. So these tribal people totally face the problem. And they have to move from those areas, from the other area where they could be able to survive. So the major disappearance of the forest will affect the tribal people, as well as wild animal also habitat. Nowadays we could hear and we could read the journal, we could read the dailies where every day some elephants will encroach in the normal human habitat. What is encroaching there? Because of these kind of forest disappearance, they lose their habitat where it was previously lived. So if we cut those areas, then again it has to come to their own habitat. So where now we are degrading all, or we are cut down all the trees, and we are living on those habitats. So next major issue is agriculture. People don't get enough fuel, wood, and small timber for farming implements. And the major effect is rainfall. Rainfall will be totally affected because of this degradation of forest. Major issue is El Nino. Previously, we don't have this much of seasonal variation. Where we do have the summer will be in March to April, whereas winter will be in December. The monsoon will be in the mid of October to December, start of December. But due to this pollution and degradation or deforestation activities, the major development on major seasonal climatic condition has been changed, and it affects the rainfall as well as these plants. The roots of these trees is called as a watershed, as well as it will withhold the soils and prevent the soil erosion. Whereas if these trees are cut down, ultimately the roots will be taken off from the soil, where the soil will be there and it will be easily erode. It can be easily erode and washed away from the surface, and it will move from one direction to other area. So totally these are the main threats as well as main effects of the forest degradation. So next we are going to see about grassland ecosystem. So this grassland covers the area where rainfall is usually low. If rainfall is high, there will be trees and all. So where the rainfall will be very low, or it will be seasonal, or some amount of it if it's rain, then these kinds of grass will grow on those areas, and it will be called as a grassland ecosystem. So this grassland ecosystem, again, it has four major types: Himalayan pasture, arid, shola grassland, and then semi-arid grassland. So based on this rainfall, humidity, altitude, this will name as Himalayan pasture, arid grassland, shola grassland, semi-arid. So it is in India. India is called as this kinds of grassland. Whereas in world, we will be having savannas, and in savannas in Africa, and in Australia we have different types, based on the area they have named. So here in India we have named as four major grasslands. So Himalayan pasture. So it is found at the top of the Himalayan area, where it will be having high altitude, as well as the rainfall will be there, where the snow will be very high. So there, during this season, these grasses will grow on the top of the Himalayan region. So these Himalayan pasture will be found at the 3,000 to 4,000 meters high. In this area, the animal will migrate to the high altitude in the summer, whereas in the winter it will come down to the forest. So in the summer season, where these grasses will grow, so these cattle, so these animals will move to those areas for grazing those kinds of grasses. And whereas in the winter season it will be totally covered with the snow, so the grassland will be very less, or it won't be covered by the snow, so there won't be any food. So these animals will migrate from those areas to the low altitude forest area. So here also it will be having so much of medicinal plants as well as flowering plants. And next one is terra grasslands. The terra grasslands are the tall leafy grasses which will grow up to 5 feet high. So height of 5 meters. So it is located in the waterlogged area. So whereas in the foothill of the Himalayan areas and the Sagas and all will be having so much of waterlogged area. So in these kinds of area, these kinds of tall elephant grasses will grow into the 5-meter height, and it's mostly found in the Himalayan foothills. Next one is semi-arid grassland. Semi-arid in the sense a less rainfall area. So where the temperature will be high, the rainfall will be very less. This kind of area which is called as semi-arid region. So in this region, the patches of thorn forest or thorn grasses will be found. So this kind of grasslands is called as semi-arid grasslands. So it is found in Western India, Central India, Deccan. In Deccan also we are having these kinds of semi-arid grassland, because in the middle of the Deccan region we won't find much of rainfall. So there we will be having these kinds of semi-arid grassland. Next one is Shola grassland. Shola. So here in the hill slopes and all we will find a little bit of patches of grasses. Those kinds of grasses and those kinds of grasslands are called as Shola grasslands. These grasslands is found in Western Ghats, Nilgiri area, and then Anandabari ranges. Anandabari is there in Tamil Nadu, we are having Anandabari ranges. Western Ghats also in Tamil Nadu, where there is a lot of Kerala, Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Here we will find these kinds of Shola grasslands. So the major uses of these grasslands is for grazing. So animals, cattle, animals like goats, cows and all, they are totally dependent on the grassland for their food. So these grasslands are used as a grazing area, and it also used for thatch houses and farm shelters. Then we have seen some of the houses will be carried by these kinds of grasses. So these grasses can be used for two types of major uses. As well as some of the people they use these grasses for fuel, as well as fuel for they dry the grasses and they use this as fuel. So the major threats rain, overutilization, conversion of irrigated form, industrial areas, fires, forest fires, topsoil washed. So these are the major threats to the grasslands. So in this class we have seen about ecosystem, components of the ecosystem, what are the major components, biotic, abiotic, and then types of ecosystem and types of producers, consumers, everything you have seen. So major components and then ecosystem, how it has been classified, the types, forest ecosystem, grassland, desert, and then aquatic ecosystem. So those are the major types of ecosystem. And then we have seen two major types. First one is forest ecosystem and next one is grassland ecosystem. So in this class we have seen about these these are major things, and next class we will see about desert ecosystem and then aquatic ecosystem. So with this we will wind up this class. Next class we will see. Thank you.